Each of the planets in our solar system is full of mystery. They certainly have something to surprise us, and Pluto is no exception. If space tourism was possible nowadays, you would definitely have to visit this planet just for the red whale. It was captured back in 2015 by the New Horizons station. You're probably wondering what this whale is and how it ended up on Pluto in the first place. Let's find out. This whale lives on Pluto's equator, or rather, there is a sparsely lit area 2,990 kilometers in diameter informally called Cthulhu Macula. This complex name was given in honor of the Great Cthulhu, the eldritch being from works of H.P. Lovecraft. But more often, this spot is called simply the Red Whale, or the Whale. The official name of that surface feature is Belton Regio. Scientists assume that once Pluto crashed into an unknown space body, the small part of the planet was broke off because of which later became Pluto's satellite Charon, and the hollow that remained after it was named the Red Whale. But why is this area red in color? Scientists have had a lot to ponder. A study conducted by Yasuhito Sakini from the University of Tokyo answered this question. To do this, the scientist used an experimental method. It was made by heating solutions of organic molecules, the same that could be on Pluto at the time of the formation of our planetary system. The experiment lasted 2 months, usually heating temperatures as high as 50 degrees Celsius. After all the manipulations, the solution turned red. That clarified a lot of things, but one point remained unclear. How did Pluto reach the necessary temperature? Professor Hidenori Genda of the Tokyo Institute of Technology decided to find the answer to this question. He recreated the moment of the fall of a cosmic body, which contributed to the appearance of the satellite Charon and the Red Whale. It turned out that the collision was a huge force and led to the formation of similar bodies of water, the temperature in which was very high. Over time, its indicators decreased. At the same time, at the equator, began processes that led to the appearance of complex organic compounds. These, in turn, gave the area on the equator a reddish hue. Thus, this area became the most unusual object not only on Pluto, but in the entire known cosmos. Yes, it would definitely become the most attractive tourist destination in the entire solar system. And of course, you may ask, is traveling to Pluto theoretically possible? And does this planet have the necessary conditions? You may be surprised, but our answer is yes. In the course of research on Pluto, it was found out that staying there can even increase your life cycle by as much as 4 times. What is the reason for this phenomenon? The fact is that the gravity on Pluto is 16 times lower than on our home planet. If gravity is lower, a person ages slower. Thus, 300 years old people living on Pluto would be commonplace. Of course, the researchers came to this conclusion after making calculations, and someone may well see it with their own eyes in the distant future. The temperature readings on Pluto are approximately minus 223 degrees Celsius. As you can imagine, it would be impossible for humans to survive in such conditions. So how can we establish a normal temperature on Pluto's surface? Special thermonuclear power plants will help. They will be installed in orbit to heat the planet's surface to the required temperature. Also, if you were on Pluto, you'd probably get a marvelous view of the satellite Charon. From the planet's surface, it would appear larger than our moon from Earth. Both Charon and Pluto are traveling at the same speed on a clear trajectory, and they always face each other on the same sides. This arrangement of the 2 cosmic objects would create ideal conditions for constructing a funicular that would connect Pluto and its companion. How many tourists could be on Pluto at the same time? It is is much smaller than Earth. The area of the dwarf planet reaches 17.7 million square kilometers, which is also equal to the area of modern Russia. At the same time, if you populate Pluto with the entire population of our home planet at once, there is still enough room for everyone. The fact is that the density on Pluto is 440 people per square kilometer, the same density as the Netherlands, so you will be sure to avoid crowds and endless queues. We figured out the living conditions on Pluto, but what interesting things can hypothetical tourists see there? It's not just the red whale. But do not go far from the equator, because in this area you can see how day replaces night. The duration of the day there is 153 hours. But, for example, if you were at the poles, you would hardly be able to catch this phenomenon because the planet is tilted so much it happens only every 124 years. To see the change of day and night on Pluto is worth it just for the bluish color that the sky acquires during sunsets and sunrises. At the same time, you can watch the sunset looking eastward because Pluto rotates in the opposite direction. Pluto doesn't get enough sunlight during the winter, so everything around is dim. But when it comes to summer, the surface becomes more illuminated. The brightness level on Pluto at this time can exceed that of our planet's full moon. What other interesting things can we find on Pluto? The New Horizons spacecraft can help us answer that question. Take a look at the images it has provided. Here is an area of closely spaced craters called Vega Terra. The peculiarity of these objects is that they are brighter in color at the edges than the rest of the surface. Scientists suggest that such bright areas were formed because of a layer of methane ice, which settled on the surface of ordinary ice. The reasons for this phenomenon have not yet been elucidated. Not far away, there is another interesting place, the Tombaugh Regio, which got its name in honor of the planet's discoverer, Clyde Tombaugh. It's also known as the heart of Pluto. Its diameter reaches 2,300 kilometers. This place resembles a huge heart. If you look at it from the orbital height, the left side is a glacier of nitrogen. It was formed where there used to be a crater. In theory, it would be possible to skate there, especially since such a huge area for this is not found in the entire solar system. There are also mountain formations in the Tombaugh Regio. One of the ranges, the highest point of which is 3,500 kilometers high, is called Mount Tenzing. There, methane snow lies on the peaks. But of course, it's not all smooth sailing. Traveling to Pluto would also bring us many challenges. To begin with, traveling to this planet takes a very long time. For example, the Pioneer 10 space probe took more than 10 years for this journey. Voyager took more than 12 years. The record holder was the New Horizons spacecraft, which accomplished this task in 9.5 years. But space travelers should not fall into despair because having arrived at the destination, they can live there for more than 300 years. And of course, we should not forget about two low temperature readings. As you may recall, it's usually over 200 degrees Celsius. Even with modern technology, travelers would have a tough time. However, such temperatures can have their advantages. For example, it could help create super-fast trains that could transport travelers from one part of the planet to another much faster. But the situation could change. In about 7 billion years, the sun will become larger and larger in size, respectively emitting more light, which would increase the average temperature on Pluto to 20 degrees Celsius. This would allow humans to live normally. We live in an amazing time. The global scientific community is seriously discussing plans to colonize not only Mars, but other planets such as Pluto. With each new decade, we get more and more advanced technologies for this. And who knows, perhaps very soon the plots of popular science fiction novels will become our everyday reality.